Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Oguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, missing in action. Keith,
Uh-huh.
the constitutional conservative. Stephen, the independent thinker. And my cousin Todd. We have a packed show for you tonight. NASCAR and Stephen will talk about how, quote, officials say Denny Hamlin could have been called for a restart violation if it was lap 10 or 50 or 300. Donald Trump is so mad about Trans Day of Visibility that he wants a Christian Visibility Day. He called Joe Biden's support for trans rights such a total disrespect for Christians. Just today, LSU star Angel Reese officially declares herself a candidate for the WNBA draft. The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. We'll talk about the devastating effects of that. How did your NCAA Division I men's basketball bracket do? Israel says they did not realize that the vehicles were not hostile before they struck them and killed 7 humanitarian aid workers. Joe Biden suddenly needs to care about Nebraska. We'll tell you why. That and more. First up, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, what is it going on with Denny Hamlin and with the Chicago thing going on in NASCAR?
What was it was unlikely that Denny Hamlin would have won this race at Richmond. And let me say, it was a great race. And every race has been great this year. They've really improved the cars. Even from last year was great, but this is even better. And Denny he came around a little late in the race, but Martin Truex was leading almost the entire race. He was doing so well. He could have won. But they had an accident. Bubba wrecked Larson, and so they had a little bit of an accident. So they went to restart, and Denny Hamlin, what they're saying is jumped it. It's hard to see, it's hard to say, but they didn't call it when it happened. And then Martin was really upset and was bumping into his back of his car, and he was upset and mad because he didn't win. And when you don't win, you're going to be mad. And if it's something that's minute, something little, a small thing that you think somebody might have done or whatever, it's not that big of a deal. They can go next week. He should Martinsville seemed like it was named after Martin Truex because he always does really well there. So he could win this race. Denny could win the race, and they're on they're the same side. They're the Toyota the guys. They're on the same team. They're in it together. He just needed to get over it. He still did well in the race. You can't you got to go on to the next week. You are a team, even though you're an individual and you want to win the race. It doesn't look good to cry. It just take it as it comes. And the next race coming up is Martinsville. Richmond is a 3/4 of a mile. Martinsville is about a half a mile, and it's shaped like a paperclip. And I'm really interested to see how these cars are going to do here because every track they've been to has been like one of the best races you've ever seen. Like this Richmond, it's the biggest joke in NASCAR. Nobody likes Richmond races. It's just become boring. It's nothing happens. It's not, it's just not great racing. This is great racing. Nothing really crazy exciting happened, but the racing, the competitiveness of all these cars and cars that generally wouldn't be up there like they are. All these cars are just so good that it really helps it. I'm so glad I like a lot of my friends got out of enjoying racing, and I'm trying to talk a few of them back because it really is. And the old school guys, even older than me, they say, "Man, racing is so good right now." And nobody ever thought it would be like that with all this next generation and new technology and stuff. Everybody's loving the race, and that's the bottom line of it all. You have to love the product they put
So
out.
I love it. I love it. It's almost as if AI is going to hit NASCAR, is what you're saying.
I'm sure it has. Yeah, I'm sure that's why the cars are designed. I guess it helps. I mean, every little thing helps.
Right.
You gotta have
All
something.
right. Thank you. On to Aguna and NBA. I see he has his jacket on. He wants to talk about who?
The Sixers. Embiid is back. He came back last night, so he wasn't 100%, but he played well. They I forgot who did they beat. I think they beat Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma that they beat. At the last minute they came down. They were down 6 and they came back. But yeah, we'll see. I think they're the 8th seed now, and they're locked in the playoffs. They are going to be in the playoffs. It's just what the seeding is going to be. And I know Milwaukee is kind of floundering a little bit, so I hopefully they'll go up against either Milwaukee, Cleveland, or Toronto. Well, not Toronto, but hopefully one of not the top seed, not the Celtics. Anybody but the Celtics first round. But yeah, he's back. And again, he put up some, I think he may have had 30 points or maybe something like that. But anyway, he did get like down the stretch. He hit his free throws. He made a good push down the stretch. So good to see him back. Will it save the Sixers season? I don't know. Will we get into the playoffs? We probably will, but we'll see. It's still just bad luck. The Sixers the last couple of years have always made it to the first round, but not past that. So, but it's good to see him back.
All right, Steven, you want to talk about your Washington?
No, we don't even know what they're called. No, they've been on a streak lately, and they have been hurting me. And any parlay I have, I'll say, well, I'll throw Washington in here because they're plus 15.5 or something. You know, they're such a never the favorite. They come in, not just cover the spread, they'll win the game. They have killed me this all the way. I can't take it back. All I can say is having Embiid back and he's really playing healthy, playing good and he's healthy, it could make a huge difference. It just depends on how much he's back. Is he near 100%? I don't know that. I haven't heard, how he feels after he's played, made 30 and a bunch of 3 points. But if he's good, I mean, I wouldn't, just being in the playoffs, you got a chance. So I wouldn't worry too much. It's good to have him back.
Thank you. Yes. On to March Madness, NCAA Division I women's basketball. Let me start with the women's basketball. But first, I want to present, and can you believe Todd had a comment about this?
First. No, I did not. Did I? Did.
Yes. So let me play this for informational purposes only.
I really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and like not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, like, I'm still a human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship. And I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks. But I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything. And I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are, keep waking up every day, keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
All right. Now she's saying that mainly, I think, because the press has been giving her a hard time. The press has been giving Angel Reese a really hard time, kind of saying that she talks a lot of smack, and I guess to say that a woman talks a lot of smack and then to turn around and put her down for being who she said she is really, I think, outrageous. She's a woman. If she wants to talk smack, I talk smack on this show all the time. That's all Todd and Steven do is talk smack. But I don't see anybody out there, trying to do something to them or trying to make them feel like they're less of a person. So for Angel Reese to be kind of like, skewered out there and really, really not given, her due. She works hard to be a player. She's 6'3", young lady. She works really hard. She plays really hard. And if she wants to talk smack on the court, she can.
Well, Stacey,
Cousin Todd.
what does she mean by the sexual implications? What happened to her?
I don't know.
We
Wait a
don't
minute,
know.
You a dirty
we have
old
a-
man, Keith. Is that of all the things that she talked about? That's you want to talk about the sexualization?
Well,
why does that resonate with you so much?
Well, because I want to know what happened. That's all.
Oh,
Everybody is sexualized, but I don't know why she even brought that up. Everybody is sexualized in some kind of way.
Steven, you're
That's
not
just silly. She's just
You're not
crying.
sexualized, Steven.
She's just crying because she lost. That's all it really is.
She's
She's saying, poor me, poor me. I go through stuff. She goes through stuff everybody else, every other athlete, everybody else that's in the spotlight. This is what comes with fame. It's why you got all that money to go buy a house and you can go underground and hide. That's why you got all this fame. Everybody gets talked about. She's sad, just like Martin Truex. They're crying. They're crying because they lost. That's what she's doing.
Well, okay, excuse me. Thank you. We have a guest. Welcome, Reverend Pressure. It says Rev Pressure.
She's a kid.
I know she's a kid.
We're sports and we're sports and politics mix and mingle. I've been getting comments that you guys just walk over me like I am a doormat in Home Depot.
No, we just try. We're flowing.
You gotta stand up for yourself.
We're flowing with the conversation.
We're just flowing. That's right. We're just keeping the flow.
I'm a doormat.
You're not.
The hotel.
Don't even put that out there, Stacey.
How's it going, Nod? Good to hear from you.
Cousin Todd, did you want
Terrible
to
to
talk
see
about
you,
Angel Reese?
along with oh, sorry.
He's talking over. But that's loud.
Cousin Todd, we can't hear you.
That's a good thing.
Okay, sorry about that. How she was sexualized is that, like a writer from the Times was calling her good versus evil. He called
them the dirty debutantes.
Dirty debutantes.
Oh.
Versus the princesses or something like that. And so anyway, to match them up like that in the media is unprofessional, sexist, and tacky. So this is what happens when women play. And then Keith, of course, hell was she sexualized? The black girl wasn't. Only if she was a white girl would she be sexualized, right, Keith?
I don't know.
Nevertheless, of course you do. Nevertheless, this is typical how American writers do black women. And talking smack on the court is commonplace for men and women. Surprise. So if a woman is doing it, it's different, say, all of a sudden. It is just beyond stupid, and it's typical white American sexism.
Well, okay. Todd, I agree with you. I agree with Todd.
Go ahead, Keith.
I agree with Todd that,
I retract everything I just said. I retract it.
If she's sexualized, that's why I asked. I mean, that's so it's ridiculous. I mean, I thought maybe she was actually maybe assaulted or something. The way she was talking, that sounded like somebody was assaulted, sexually.
Well, we got to remember, these are kids, right? These are college kids. And, way the media and the sports world is now, you got to have good versus evil, us versus them. So they got to have, to paint a picture or a characterization around these young ladies is good for business, is good for sales, is good for viewership. So they actually put these caricatures around these young ladies. And so you have on one side, you have a white Iowa, Caitlin, who is a phenomenal basketball player, by the way, and works hard, hitting 3-pointers from New Jersey. Then you have Reese, who's, again, she's culture. She's African-American. She has the long eyelashes. She has, so of course you have these different blends of cultures coming against each other. And so as it plays out in the sports media, somebody has to be good, somebody has to be bad. You saw the trash talking last year in the national championship game, pointing at the ring. So she kind of took on that villain role because of that in the eyes of the media. So when you get into these situations, she probably played her final game. She said she's going to the draft. So, I mean, there's a lot of emotion. So yeah, she's gonna, she's not that she's trying to play the victim or anything, but there's a lot of emotions associated with walking off the court from your team for the last time. She's right at the press conference. She's a young woman. You're in front of the sporting world. I mean, that game had like the highest viewership of any women's basketball game ever, kind of thing. And it's like,
and men's,
right? So that's a lot of weight to be on any individual's shoulders, and especially as it played out in the media as this person is bad, this person's good.
Right.
So it's a lot of pressure.
And it's pitted like the dirty debutantes versus America's sweethearts.
Yeah, and there's some racial undertones to that. There are some racial undertones. I mean, I'm looking on social media and I'm looking at some of these sites and what they're saying about the young ladies and stuff. It's crazy, right? But that's America we live in. So it's important for us to ground ourselves in the fact that, these are college girls, they're athletes, they're competitors. They've done a wonderful job. They've actually elevated women's sports in general. So I think we should celebrate that versus trying to make again, sports is about winning and losing, but at the same time, both of these ladies have done a phenomenal job and their teams have done a phenomenal job. I mean, it's a group effort and these ladies have put in some serious work to get where they are. So I think that should be celebrated and not necessarily scrutinized or let alone villainized because of that.
Okay. Thank you. Reverend Pressure, your comments about Angel Reese.
Yeah. I think in this story, you get to see the good and bad side of the media. Mm-hmm. So with the LA Times running that story where the guy is clearly playing in the racialized tropes and sexualized tropes that he knew would get clickbait and draw anger. The problem is not that the writer was terrible for doing that and a terrible person even for coming up with that stuff, but the fact that went through a process, meaning editors and everybody else who looked over that and decided, yes, this is fit for print and actually put that out. So that's the bad side of the media. The good side of the media is Angel did a pretty good job. She was composed. She handled the loss well. She was just having a regular conversation. Then that journalist asked the question, how do you feel about your teammates always having your back with all of the stuff that you go through? And that's when we got the emotional human moment where Angel couldn't play, she couldn't play into the WWE character style stuff that she does, just to kind of bring fun into the game. She actually gave us a human moment where she was vulnerable. She's talking about the online harassment, the sexual stuff she's had to, kind of deal with and how much she loved her teammates. So, this was the media kind of showing you what can happen when it's done well and what can happen when it's done terribly. But good game. Shout out to Caitlin Clark and shout out to Angel. I really enjoyed the game. I thought LSU was going to lose. Kim Mulkey may be one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in the process. We know about Kim Mulkey because of the outfits and the outlandish stuff she says, but I haven't really watched them to the point of kind of looking at her as far as strategy. So when I saw them going under screens on Caitlin Clark, I'm like, okay, what are y'all doing? And then I saw like she kept the one girl on Caitlin all night. They didn't blitz her or double team her or put Floje on it. Like that was some terrible coaching done by Kim Mulkey. They deserve to lose. But when somebody put up 40 and 10 on you, you might want to double team them or something. So yeah, that's all I got.
Hey Stacey,
can I say
one more thing?
Can I make a comment? I want to make a comment real quick. What was interesting about Kim Mulkey's response to Angel Reese was that, when it gets down to it, she basically said, I've been in this business 40 years. I'm about making sure our team wins. And it's really interesting based on what Reverend Pressure just said about how, he didn't think her strategy was so good. And if she's focusing on it like she says she is, then what happened? Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing about the media. After what Nas said, it's interesting to note.
Reverend Pressure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
I will call you by. Okay. Anyway,
Pressure
I just
nozzle.
wanted to say this: that isn't this evident that the media, which never retract anything that they say negative about anybody, and they attack conservatives all the time, like Trump and all the rest of us, and yet nobody ever calls them to the carpet. So they seem
Yes,
to get
they
away
did.
with all of this
They
stuff
did.
to put
And
people down.
he
And
apologized for saying that.
Oh,
The
okay.
Times writer.
Okay. Well, you should have never written it in the first place. But anyway, that's just typical
Thank
of the
you.
character of the
Thank
media.
you. Thank you. I have to get Stephen in here. Stephen, you
He
didn't
never
make a
should have
comment.
written. He never should have wrote it anyway. When these Mexicans are rapists and murderers
I
and
think
dope
it was
dealers, and
I think it was an overreaction on the question that he asked. I didn't think it was that bad a question that she needed to go off the way she did. And she could have said, they had to make you feel when the players have your back, she could be like, it humbles me so much. You know, I do as much as I can for this team, but I know they're with me. And that's what she could have went to. But she went to, please bring the Kleenex. I'm getting ready to have tears like an ocean. You know, I understand she's a kid, and then all these people are kids, and all these people win and lose. But you know what bothers me? I love trash talking about stuff, but you know,
listen at this
we're
devil.
talking about women's basketball,
Jesus.
and it would be nice
This
to have
is the
like
devil.
act a little bit classy, a little bit, you know, have a little bit of class, like every other team. You know, they're doing this
And
crap
now
last
she's
year. It's not
classless.
necessary. I mean, this is not high
What
school.
did those
The
hockey
whole world,
players
you're getting
do?
paid. The whole
What
world sees
did those
you.
hockey
Nobody
players
wants to
do?
see that garbage, you know. I'm all about having
Okay,
fun,
thank
but
you.
just the game itself was wonderful,
The,
Stacey.
the,
That's
the
the first.
ratings
That's the
say
first
that the
time I've ever
world
bet
did
on
want to see
women's
it.
Get this
basketball.
demon off.
That's the
Double
first time I
standard.
ever
Wait a
bet on
minute. Let
women's
him finish.
basketball, and it won't be the last time. That was
Let him,
one of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my life. And that girl is
and
He's
amazing.
going
Stephen's
on
credit.
and
Let's
on.
not
Excuse me.
exaggerate now.
That girl's
Excuse me.
amazing.
Stephen's credit. Stephen sent me a text and said, "Did you watch that game?" And I missed that game. I'm sorry, I missed it. I wanted
Oh
to go back and
man.
watch it. Reverend Pressure,
So,
what were you gonna
but
say?
I will
Oh,
say this. Let me
go
just
ahead.
say this.
Women,
You know what
hold
Caitlyn
on,
does?
hold on 1 second. Women Failing Women by Stacy not watching the game. And Stephen,
Mm.
when a reporter asks a question, and it gets somebody emotional or vulnerable, that's a good job by the reporter. That's not a bad thing.
I
Barbara
didn't
That
say it
Walters.
wasn't.
reporter
I
was
said
actually.
she went the wrong
You
direction.
said
I'm not mad at the reporter. I'm saying she went in the
that's
wrong
the
direction. She
that's
could have made
the
a positive
point.
moment
No,
and brought her
You,
team up with her.
you're
She
missing
could
the
have
point.
lifted the team up.
You
This
have
is a,
never
Shut
been in
up,
that
man.
I'm a
situation.
victim. I'm a victim. I'm a
You
victim.
have never been in that
Ah.
situation, Stephen.
Just shut
You have
up.
never been
That's
in that
why,
situation.
and that's
She's
why
going.
nobody
She's
Okay,
going to the
Daddy Bruno.
pros. She's going to the pros. Why
I'm
is she
just gonna
crying?
finish. Hold
I-
on.
She gonna make more money in a minute than I'm gonna make in a year. Why is she
Stacy,
crying?
shut
I
him
should be here
up.
crying.
Hold on. Stacy, he running over you. He running
Of
over
Again, he's
you,
course,
running.
Stacy.
it's
Let's
That
have
red
a
typical.
face.
mature
Stacy's
dialogue.
delusional.
Go ahead,
Let,
Goon.
So
You're losing the show.
let me finish my turn because I was interrupted by that red faced possum. So anyway, finishing my turn. The point was when questions like that are asked, we want to get those moments. And you said, well, she should have said, no, that's the point. We don't want them to give us these pre-rehearsed answers that are, kind of looked over by the media team and given to them to the way so we can get these boring interviews that tell us nothing. We want the vulnerable stuff where somebody actually is human. So no, that was a great job by the reporter and a great job by Angel. But go ahead, Mr. Aguna, because it's your
But
turn.
she didn't
that's
You're
what
not
I
answer the
was
speaking
going
in
to
front of me.
say.
question.
That's what I was
That's
going to
not
Shut
say.
answering.
up, you red-faced
He didn't
moron.
answer the question.
Shut up.
She did answer the
He
question. That's the
didn't.
whole point. I
Okay,
think
She
go
it's
said
ahead,
very.
people are
Aguna.
Such a
sexualizing me. They
pie-hole.
asked her about her team supporting
Stephen,
her.
Stephen,
All
Stephen, we
right,
gotta
I'll
let
be
Aguna
quiet.
go.
All right.
Yay.
Supporting her through what? See, that's what I'm saying. There was an authentic response. And like Nas said, we want that to show that these ladies are human beings. And so if there's a little girl who's sitting there aspiring to be this basketball player, putting herself in their shoes, I mean, it actually connects with the audience. So to sit there and try to say, hey, me, Stephen, who's never been on a national stage in front of a national audience, have done anything like that, to say, to project and say this young woman should have answered it this way, had the audacity to say, hey, she should have done this, knowing that you've never even had the opportunity to be
It's
in
not
that
It's not
scene.
relevant.
It is
That's not relevant to my
it's
answer.
the
No, it's not.
hypocrisy of it all. Because
Yeah,
like,
I've never had a
you're not
baby,
an
but I can
expert.
talk about
You're
having a
not an
baby.
expert.
Why-
So
why
why are
do
you
you
trying to
keep
pretend?
I'm not an expert on having a baby.
Yes,
Why-
yes.
why do you keep
So you're gonna sit
interrupting
there and say
people?
how a woman should
He
respond to
keeps
having a baby?
interrupting
I didn't
because
say that.
Aguna eggs him on little bit by little bit.
Oh,
But I
Oh,
shut
she
want
up,
should have pushed this
Stacy.
way. She should have had the baby this way. She should have had
Yeah,
the baby
yeah.
this way instead of
And
that
she
way.
shouldn't have had an
Mm.
abortion, even though the baby was dead inside of her.
You like to
All
tell
right.
people what to do.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So
Women.
this is the Final Four for the women's NCAA Division One Final Four. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Can you see it? It is South Carolina versus North Carolina State. That is April 5th at 7 p.m. Aguna, South Carolina, huh? That's not the Gamecocks, right?
That is the Gamecocks. That's the one and only. That's Don Staley. This is going to be an
Stacy
interesting
doesn't
game.
know anything about sports.
The Final Four in general, are both
Revenge.
very fascinating. The fact that you have UConn and the men's, North Carolina State and the men's and the women, that's automatically, pretty intriguing. But Don Staley, they're playing at a high level. Oregon State actually gave them a run for their money a little bit. So this North Carolina State team is a scrappy team as well. So we'll see what happens. But I think they're going to push through. And I also see on the other side, UConn. You can't sleep on UConn either. The UConn women's team, but I don't know how they're going to contain Caitlin. Like Nas pointed out, you can't let go underneath on the screens on her. She was just hitting it relentlessly. Not going to say that she's going to be able to do that or repeat that performance in this game, because clearly if you go in there and don't double team her or do something, then of course she deserves it. But I do think it's going to be Iowa and South Carolina. And then it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because South Carolina doesn't have a lot of shooters. Iowa has a lot of shooters, but South Carolina controls the boards. You're not going to have a lot of rebounds. They're also a very physical team. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out once it gets to that point. But I do see South Carolina and Iowa squaring up in the championship. And of course, being biased, I'm going to go for the Gamecocks. I want Don Staley to win. I think that would be her third title. It's her fourth in a row Final Four. So and I'm just a big Don Staley fan. So she's from Philly. It's one of those things.
Okay. Todd, did you want to say anything about women's basketball? Oh, Todd's not there and he doesn't know anything about women's basketball. Let me go to, okay, so let's look at this like I usually do. South Carolina versus North Carolina State. Aguna said he had South Carolina. Stephen, who do you have?
Aguna, does North Carolina have a chance if you're not being biased?
I don't think they do.
North Carolina has no chance. They're not in the tournament.
What is it? What is NC State? I can't see the thing. It's North Carolina against South Carolina. Whatever.
Right.
What's the point? Do you know the point spread or who's favored? It's South Carolina's favored. I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, South Carolina's definitely favored. I do not know the spread though.
All right. Well, if the spread's big enough, I might take NC State, but I'll take South Carolina straight up.
Okay. Keith, who are you gonna take?
The Bible.
You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Keith is having a private chat.
Neither one.
We can't hear you.
Neither
There he
one.
is.
You have to choose
Neither
one.
one. Thank
Keith.
you.
That's not how that works.
Reverend Pressure, who are you gonna take?
It's South Carolina and UConn in the championship game, baby. We get the upset. UConn upsets Iowa. Gino Amarima, or whatever the hell his name is, makes some adjustments that Kim Mulkey didn't, and Paige Buckers and UConn finds a way to knock off Iowa because Caitlin doesn't have much help and has to do everything by herself.
I don't know. She can dish that rock though.
I think they're going to force her to. I think they're going to double her all night and force the other players to actually score. Because I think that's the only way you really slow Caitlin down.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, now I'm going to go for South Carolina State winning, and then
they're
I'm
not
going to
playing
go.
either, ma'am.
Always go for South Carolina State.
Then I'm going to go for Iowa. So I think it's going to be South Carolina versus Iowa for the women's Division I NCAA championship game. Let's go straight to the men's.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have Iowa as well. I just said about North
Oh,
Carolina.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Stephen, you can go ahead for the men's NCAA Division I Final Four. We've got UConn versus Alabama. And I was really, really shocked when, Alabama got that far. And then you have North Carolina State versus Purdue. Stephen, who do you have for UConn, Alabama?
I have UConn, and I have them laying the points. I think it's about 12.5. They've been crushing everybody. Every game they crush everybody. So I'm gonna lay a big bunch of points. Maybe I can get it cut down to about 10 or something. But they just seem to be beating everybody. I like Alabama. I think they
Okay.
play well, but I think UConn is just unbelievable.
And then who do you have between North Carolina State and Purdue?
I've been riding NC State. I don't know how many games now, 8 or 9 games straight. Been loving them, and I'm still going to take them with the points. But I've got Purdue winning it all, so I can't go against Purdue. But I love NC State. They've been really, really good to me, and they've been fun to watch.
Okay.
So is
Laguna.
Purdue. So is Purdue, and with their center.
Yeah, man, this is an interesting one. I do have UConn coming out, actually trying to win the whole thing because they just been very dominant. The men's team's been very dominant. I do think North Carolina, though, with the big man at center from Rock Hill, South Carolina,
DJ.
Yeah. So I got him. I mean, he's been doing a pretty good
do it
job.
by
Watch what
himself.
he did against
No,
Marquette.
he can't do it by himself. What he does, he posts up in that middle. He gets a little situated right there and makes that move. And if he gets a jump on you, the other team, he's going to make that shot and it's going to go in. But what
Yeah.
they're going to do probably is double and triple team him, and that's going to stop him right there in the
Yeah, but he's
lane.
also good off the board. So it's like he could do that, and he's not going to take it down low. But he can get the rebound and put it back in. And I just saw what they did to Duke. I saw what they did to Marquette. And these guys just keep winning. So Purdue, I think, is going to be a tougher sale. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with my heart and say UConn versus NC State, and I have
UConn Cornelius.
UConn winning.
It could happen, Laguna. It could happen. I'm not putting anything past NC State.
Right.
All right. NC State has been a surprise. I'm not going to ask you, Keith. Repping pressure.
Yeah, the NC State Purdue game is just basically who gets in foul trouble. The big kid for Purdue or the big kid for NC State. Whichever one of them gets in foul trouble, their team is more likely to lose. Besides that, I would rather NC State plays UConn in the final because I feel like they'll give them a better chance. Purdue, I think, will get beaten really badly because they're so slow, and UConn has an answer for the big boy in the middle because their center might be a little bit better than him and probably is going to be an actual NBA player as opposed to a G League guy like the big boy for Purdue. So give me UConn, NC State, and UConn, of course, wins by 20 and cuts the Nets down because they're the best team by far.
UConn Cornelius.
I've got UConn beating Alabama, and then I got Purdue beating North Carolina State. Just because the big boy in Purdue, he's itching for it. He's carrying them on his back.
He's 7'4", 300 pounds, State. That boy big.
Yeah, but he's been carrying them on. Zach Edey has been carrying them on his back. He had a thing. You heard in the press conference, he said people overlook him. He's tired of people overlooking him. He said the Tennessee coach overlooked him. He was ready to name names and take hostages. I mean, I think he really feels like he has something to prove. So as long as he's feeling that way, Purdue is going to take NC State. I'm not going to say it's not going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to come down to the wire. But I see UConn over Purdue, and then UConn winning it all.
Wow.
Good pick.
UConn.
All right. We're going to move on. Let me stop sharing.
Stacey, before you leave sports, I have one more point I'd like to make about, and that's Mike Tyson is about to fight again. I'm wondering, Stephen is also a boxer. Stephen, what do you think his chances of beating that young 25-year-old? And
It's an
he's all,
exhibition. It's an exhibition fight, and it really disappoints me because I love Mike Tyson. He's around my age. I've been a fan of his since he was a kid. I was a kid, and so it really disappoints because I want to see a real fight. Because as soon as it came out, everybody said this old man can't beat him. This old man can't beat him. I know this old man can beat him. I know if they get into a real fight, who's going to win that fight? And it's Mike Tyson. I don't care how old he is. He's in really good shape. He takes care of himself. No, but you know what? It's an exhibition. They're going to wear like 80-ounce gloves. They're going to wear gloves like look like two little children out there with real boxing gloves this big. It's not going to be a real fight. So, but they got a line out on it. And they got Tyson losing. So it's just going to be BS. It's not even going to be a referee in there. No judges. You know, it's just not. It's just they're going to get out there and touch each other and go home with about $500 million a piece or something. That's all it is, man. I don't put any money into it. Don't put much time. And it's really disappointing to me because I want to see a real fight.
They should let Steven and cousin Todd get in the boxing ring and pay them that type of money to do nothing.
Steven,
You know, we do the same thing. Yeah, I let him touch me. I touch him here, and he touched me here. That's all we would do for how many rounds they want. And they're only doing 2-minute rounds and maybe 3 rounds at that. You know, it's just a goofy thing, man. It's just so disappointing. It's like it's sponsored by Pee Wee Herman. Come on, this is gonna be great. No, it's not gonna be great.
And thank you for hijacking. Thank you for hijacking my my next
I'm sorry.
thing, Keith. No, that was Keith. So we're going to go into Israel, Hamas. Our thoughts and prayers are with the humanitarian workers who lost their lives. And listen to Jose Andres, the founder and CEO, about the loss of his teammates.
It was very clear. The situation began and being very obvious when we began seeing images of these bodies and these passports in the hospital that confirm these were our people. The end is what we know, what everybody knows, that 7 team members between the specialty security people we have, 3 British individuals and 3 international crew plus 1 Palestinian, 7 people dead. But there are 7 on top of a list of more than another 190 humanitarian workers that they've been killed over the last 6 months. Humanitarians and civilians should never be paying the consequences of war. This is a basic principle of humanity. At the time, this looks like it's not a war against terrorism anymore. Seems this is a war against humanity itself. You cannot be destroying every building. You cannot be destroying every hospital, every school. You cannot be targeting humanitarian. You cannot be targeting children. You cannot be fighting the basis of what humanity should be standing for.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Yes, problem.
You need.
Sorry, didn't get out of there quick enough. Let's start with Aguna. Oh, go ahead, Keith, and then Aguna. Do you want to talk about? I'm sorry. He said it seems like it's a fight against humanity. You know, to kill children, he said, to kill, humanitarian workers, to bomb every building. It just seems like a fight against humanity. And if you don't think that is correct, Keith, why?
well, because I didn't say it was not correct. I'm just saying that history tells us, I'm going by history, accurate history. When Truman dropped the bomb twice, not once, but twice on Japan, I don't know what the outrage was. I don't know. I don't know that much about history. Maybe Nas knows because he's a good historian. But, it just seems to me that, yes, there are casualties in war. But if the other side actually cared about civilians or, humanity, they would release the prisoners that they have, especially Americans. They would release the prisoners, release the hostages, because they are putting them in harm's way by hiding behind hostages while Israel is trying to deal with Hamas. So I'm not gonna be critical of Israel based on what I just said, based on history.
Yeah, so that's the first thing you did was compare it to the dropping of the bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which if you look at historians since then, they said that was a mistake. And then again, that was the first time that those atomic weapons have ever been used in the history of the world. They haven't been used since, by the way. So then you look at the fact that this is not about negotiation with Hamas. This is about the IDF. This is about Israel not abiding by international law. Those vehicles that were struck were in a relief corridor. So they should have known not to strike those vehicles. That's part of that protocol. And so what's happening, let me finish. I didn't interrupt. So part of this is Israel not following its own protocols. There's a responsibility there. You have to get permission to hit that target at that time. And Hamas, you know that 1 out of every 5 Israeli soldiers is killed by friendly fire. So this is not about an Israeli Hamas thing. This is about the Israeli Defense Force not following its own protocols, putting their own soldiers in harm's way, putting their aid workers in harm's way. And you're sitting here trying to make it about Hamas, but no, they're not even following their own procedures. And when you talk about some of these incidents, this is not the first time it's happened. There's over 200 some odd aid workers that have been killed. And these are aid workers. If you look at the theater of war that's happening there are certain no strike zones that Israel is not abiding by that are for humanitarian corridors to be used. They shouldn't even be firing at targets in that area. And if you think about it, it's the troops on the ground aren't talking and getting proper approval by their chain of command. So this is all about, Hamas war aside, this is Israel not following its own protocols. They're killing their own soldiers. They're killing their own hostages. And so it's like you can sit here and blame Hamas all you want to, but I think the last point I'll make is Todd made a point last time when you have a hostage situation at a school and the school kids are being held hostage by a gunman. You drop a bomb on the school and say, oh, it's the children's fault because they're being held hostage, or do you hold the police accountable and say, okay, we're going to negotiate, we're going to try to save human lives and, resolve the situation. Israel cannot be held on the same standard as a terrorist organization. So to sit here and not hold them accountable for this type of this is a genocide happening at this point because you're killing aid workers. And like I said in the beginning, the longer this conflict goes on, the more hostile Israel is, the more the world is going to turn against Israel. And that's not the world's fault. That's Israel's fault.
I won't turn
Thank you. Stephen.
Israel had nothing to gain by doing what this guy said they did. They have nothing to gain by it. The only thing that they have is the outrage that would come from it. That's why I cannot intellectually be dishonest enough to say that they must have done it on purpose, and they're doing this stuff on purpose all the time, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You're saying they're incompetent. All of a sudden they're evil, but they've no other. I didn't talk when you talk. No other group. No other people at war has been so precise and tried to be so good about not having casualties of innocent people. That's what they do. So this is what happened. It's that's what that opinion of that man is. But I believe Israel has nothing to gain. They wouldn't act this way. And what Keith said is right. They give us all of our hostages, and say we're not going to attack you anymore, and it would be over. No. And another thing is, this is war. This is wait a minute. I'm not talking. Wait a minute. This is a war zone, everybody. It's a war zone. Stay out. Stay out of the war zone. If you're a chef and you're a celebrity and you want to be a big guy, you want to be everybody's big boy.
Is killed by fire.
Stay out of there. They've told everybody to get out of here.
They're killing their own soldiers.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Everybody.
Reverend Pressure, Cousin Todd. I don't know where he went. Reverend Pressure.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to be brief. So the guy that he said is some celebrity chef or some guy, understand who he is. When there's a hurricane, flood, or earthquake anywhere on the globe, this guy and his team travel to that area and feed people. That's what he does. This is why most people know him, and people are really, really stressed about seeing him say the things that he's saying because of how much they believe in him. So if you want to know about him, go look up the work he actually does and get a better idea about who this person is and why he really has no side in this war. His thing is making sure that people are fed. But this is, this is part and parcel of what I've been saying since the beginning. I told you guys, this is a slow moving genocide.
No, it's not.
And the ultimate outcome is they want to remove these people from that area. As we see right now in New York, they just had auctions for land there. You see people talking about they're going to do beachfront property over in Gaza. So ultimately, they want to ethnically cleanse these people and kill them. And they're doing it right in front of the whole world. And I don't think they were prepared for the blowback that they would get based on not only social media giving us a different access than we normally would have, but normal people who were just put on a jacket and said they would be reporters and cover the things that happen. And because of that, the majority of the world does not agree. We saw Israeli citizens today rush their government building, tearing down stuff. We saw the hostages' families are demanding that Netanyahu resign because Hamas has offered to trade hostages for their hostages that are held by Israel. And Israel has said, no, they're going to continue with their protocol. So when Keith asked the question of give back the hostages, well, that's already been offered. And they said
It's not
no.
equal. Not equal.
And they
not equal.
continue to say no.
Nah.
Okay.
They want to
Thanks,
give. They want killers back. We want innocent people back. Just give us our innocent people back.
Who is we? Who is we?
Hamas wants killers back. We, the normal people in this world, wants the hostages back from when they were attacked on the 7th. When they were attacked on the 7th, us normal people want the hostages.
Let's get cousin Todd in here, man. Get this dude out of here.
Please. We're not. Let's try to avoid the wacko talk.
Turn them to glass, wacko.
See, exactly. See, listen to this man.
Cousin Todd.
You're making our point
can't
for
hear
us.
you.
Yeah, or give up, or give up.
Give up these nuts.
Give up, or give up.
Who is being turned to glass? Hamas?
Hamas.
Or innocent children?
Hamas. No children.
Did
We
you
do not
see
want to
the
kill any.
innocent children.
Well, the number's 30,000 now. So 30,000.
That's your number. That's not an actual number. That's what Hamas.
See? You see?
Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
This is
Stop
what
talking,
happens.
please. Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
This is what happens when all reason goes out the window. That's not the number. That's not the number. As if he would know the number. It was only 12 of them. This is Trump at its best. This is why these people voted for and can't wait to vote for Trump again. They have no sense at all. They don't distinguish between fact and fiction. Now, Nas just said there were 30,000 killed. That's the number thus far. But they didn't believe how many people died from the coronavirus either. Oh, they made that number up. So you can't, there's no reasoning with these people. Just like there's no reasoning with Benjamin Netanyahu, who needs to stop bombing innocent people. And so I was hearing on the news, they were saying, this was MSNBC. People are calling for Biden to stop funding this war. Cease. If Benjamin Netanyahu does not follow orders, then stop the money flow. Not permanently, just till this settles. You cannot continue to kill innocent people and just say, sorry. That's not going to work. And so I think they should cease giving them weapons temporarily and force them to cease fire.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you.
Before you share the screen,
okay, here we go.
Keith was saying to
Politico.com.
stop giving money to Israel months ago. Keith was saying that. That's how
Okay, if you look at the screen,
is.
it says this article written by on Politico.com, Biden is not changing Israel policy after deadly strike on aid workers. Some of his senior officials think it's a blatantly horrific and stupid mistake, by Alexander Ward, written today at 12:21 p.m. The Biden administration has no plans to change its policy toward Israel. after the Allies' forces killed 7 humanitarian aid workers. President Biden was privately enraged by the deadly strike and in a public statement upbraided Israel for it, calling for accountability to those responsible and demanding more humanitarian assistance be allowed into Gaza. But 2 senior administration officials said that is as far as he and the White House will go for now.
And I think that's a
Biden's trying to
mistake.
play both sides. Biden's trying to play both sides. He's not right.
Yeah, well, he's playing both sides, but honestly,
He's keeping
the amount of money and weapons, that's the only thing that can keep this going. So
Well,
he's playing both sides, but the direction
weapons.
he's choosing, like you're clearly putting your thumb on the scale. But this
Yeah.
also kind of shows you how bad of a politician Trump is, because this is the perfect vacuum for Trump to move in and say, ceasefire tomorrow. If I was in there, I would already stop this. This wouldn't have gone on. I'd have called Netanyahu and we'd have worked out a deal.
He's
I'd have made a
been
wonderful deal.
saying that.
If he was, sir, he's alluded to it, but he hasn't said it directly. If he
Right.
was smart, that would be the move right
He
here.
doesn't want to show his hand though, because
No, he would make Hamas give up the hostages. That's what Trump would do, and he'd make Hamas surrender.
No, again,
Oh my God.
you're just
Here,
overlooking the
well,
fact they've already tried that. They offered them up. They don't want them. Israel doesn't
They did
want
not. They offered them up for a bunch of murderers.
You just said
That's
they
not
didn't
the
offer them
same.
up.
You don't offer. You don't
just-
offer me nothing.
No,
You
it's
give me
called
my
a
people that you
negotiation.
took from me. No, this ain't.
So
Let's
you
make a
gotta
deal.
negotiate.
You give them their people back. Give us our Americans back.
It's a
Give us the people back.
negotiation.
It ain't no negotiating. You don't make
Okay,
no
then
deal.
this is still war.
Not
then.
Well,
Netanyahu's
you
right.
just said a deal, so obviously you, have
You
to
don't
negotiate.
make no deals like that.
You just
You
spun yourself
you
in 3
give up all the
directions.
hostages and we stop killing anybody. You worried about your people
And they
dying?
said
No,
You
no,
worried
they're
about your
not.
people
The
dying?
more you
Then give
kill
the
people,
hostages
the
back.
worse you look.
'Cause unless
The more
you
you
do,
keep-
they're gonna keep killing you, dummy. Keep
Okay,
playing.
now-
Right,
You know
thank
what?
you.
They don't need
Because
America.
obviously
you.
they've been killing Palestinians for much longer than this. They don't
Come on.
care. The longer
They
you
do
kill
care.
them, the
What they
worse
do is
you
they
look.
defend themselves. They defend themselves because the
The worse you look.
monsters
Now, you
is
saying what
Hamas.
you just
The
said,
The monsters
monsters.
ate the babies and killed them and raped them and
Okay,
broke their
Stacey,
bones
Stacey,
in their
Stacey,
pelvises. That's
Stacey,
what.
are you asleep or are
See,
you woke?
at the end of the
Say it
day,
again, Stacey,
you're
with
playing
all
into
his
Hamas's
ignorance.
hands by killing innocent civilians. Period. Period.
Hamas don't care.
I know. So why are you still killing people?
The world does. And we're gonna
Hamas
see
wants
how it
those
plays
people.
out. But
Okay,
why
Hamas
are you-
wants
why are you
those
giving-
people.
So you're giving
Hamas
them
is
what
a
they want.
monster.
You're giving them what they want.
Stop.
There you
Stop.
go.
crystal meth has to be stopped. We
I
can't
know
have this
crystal
man
meth.
on
Let's
drugs.
talk about the opioid crisis in America.
Indeed.
Let's
All right.
let's pivot to that.
Let's move on and talk about America in particular.
Ma'am, the proper spelling is miracle.
Us here on Queen City News at 10. I'm Blakely. Now, the bond is smaller than what was initially set. He is still on the hook for the nearly $500 million judgment he must pay in the civil case. The lower bond was put in place while he appeals the ruling in that case brought about by the New York State Attorney General. The judge ruled Trump inflated his worth and the value of some assets to get bank loans and also tax breaks. Now, Trump's posting of the bond means he avoids having bank accounts frozen and assets seized. And one of the possible asset targets was the Trump National Golf Club in Mooresville.
They just got money from the My Pillow guy. Where's the My Pillow guy when you need him?
Okay, Cousin Todd.
I would like for Stephen and Keith to cheat on their taxes and inflate the value of their property and see what happens to them. So this is what happens when you commit these kinds of crimes. He's not special. Even Martha Stewart went to jail for cheating on her taxes.
What do you mean, even Martha
Wesley
Stewart? Martha
Snipes.
Stewart hadn't been the president of the United States. What do you mean, even Martha Stewart?
They don't have him
Because
cheating on his
this
taxes.
is- Yes,
They don't have
that's-
him cheating on
that's
his taxes.
Oh, yeah,
Just
they do.
wait.
That's part of it.
No, it's not.
What do you think he's inflating the value for?
No, this is all bogus. Y'all all know that.
Okay,
No
now
bank,
let me-
no bank
Of
came
course,
after this.
of
This is
It's
This
the
is
world
the
against
Biden
Trump. It's a
administration
Right.
trying to
Yeah,
shut
you're right.
somebody up.
Well,
That's
Biden's
all.
doing
Y'all know what's
Right,
going
man.
Hunter
on.
Biden's
You know
laptop.
what? It's not
Hunter
even
Biden's
worth talking
laptop.
about
Right
it.
there,
Y'all
man.
know what's
Hillary
Keith.
Clinton's
Keith.
email
They know what's going on,
and
right?
Benghazi.
Grown
They're not
man,
stupid. They
right?
acting
Benghazi.
stupid.
It's
And
about
Todd can
Benghazi,
get
isn't
away
it?
with it, but these other guys can't.
Yeah, it's Biden's doing
Biden,
this.
that man.
It's all about
This is
Biden.
sick.
Okay, excuse me. Now, I'm going to move on. Thank you. Todd, are you finished your
Wait,
comment? Or do you-
No, I am nowhere
Stacy,
near finished my
I have a
comment.
question.
No way near tired.
Let's buy the Bible. Did you buy the Bible?
No, but I got a question for clarity's sake, Todd.
Listen
No,
to this.
Keith, stop. Let Todd finish.
No, but
Please,
Yeah.
Todd.
We don't have all day. We're almost
Constitution
out
is
of
in the
time.
Bible.
you got to be.
Please, Todd.
And
gotta-
We're
spell
almost out of time.
clarity.
Come on, Todd.
If
didn't
you
sell
can
enough Trumpy
shut
bears.
these monkeys up. Okay. Now, again, he cheated on his taxes because when you inflate the value of your property, and I know you don't know this, dum-dum, but then you reduce it all the way down when it's tax time. So that's cheating on his taxes. Now, again, I was talking about Martha Stewart because she's rich and she's white. She went to jail for cheating on her taxes. Wesley Snipes, a whole laundry list of people go to
He's
jail.
not rich. He's not white.
Listen to
And
this
he's a male.
Republican. Listen to this Republican. I can't stand Trump supporters. So anyway, when you do this and you get caught, you go to jail
Laguna,
for
aren't
it.
you a
So
Republican?
there's
All
nothing
right,
special.
Todd. We'll see what happens.
There's
Okay, keep
nothing-
living in your fantasy world, man. We'll see what happens in that stupid case. And like all the other cases, it's just garbage. Why are we wasting
Everything
time?
is stupid.
It's all of the
But-
cases are falling
That's all
apart.
Okay,
I
That's
gotta move on.
funny. That's
What-
funny. All the cases are
Tell
falling
him to
apart.
shut
I got a
up,
question,
Stacy.
Stacy. You know
Ma'am.
that excessive bail, which is a violation of the Eighth Amendment. I'm wondering though, is he owing 175 million in addition to the $500 million? Is that what that is?
Quick question, Keith. Why did you come up with the number that it was excessive?
Well,
Why-
because
why-
with the video that the tape that she played said that he's still responsible for that $500 million, in addition to the 175.
that's not the answer. That's not the question I asked you. You said it was excessive. How have you determined that it's excessive?
Oh, that's the Eighth Amendment. It says
But
He's talking
how
about
have
the amount.
you determined that it is
excessive bail.
excessive?
So not okay. Well, it's excessive because who in the hell? What have you ever heard of anybody paying $500 million? $500 million
It's excessive to you.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Individuals don't have. A company has that money, but not generally individuals has that much money laying around.
Right.
And they
He's
did it
got a
on purpose to
company.
be excessive. All this is to do is to hurt Donald Trump. They said that no other businessman is going to be hurt the way they hurt Donald Trump. Just because he's running for president. Just because he's your enemy.
A crime.
I asked Keith.
They didn't commit a crime.
You have to stop. You have
Let's
to
get
stop.
back to
Right.
it.
Everybody stop.
I'm guilty.
Todd, are you finished? I'm going to move on.
Well, he
I want to
hasn't
share
been.
my screen.
No, I'm not finished.
Stacy, I asked
Todd
you
ain't
a
never
question.
finished.
Why
He's
did
just
he
done.
choose? Why did he
I don't-
choose that it was excessive? And he said basically Eighth Amendment, but he didn't have any answer. So the substantial nature of the crime committed and the amounts that were used is how you get to a bail that high. They don't
No.
just randomly choose a number.
They
You guys
wouldn't have
realize
brought. They said it was excessive. Everybody agrees it's excessive, and that's why they brought it down.
They don't. That's not
Everybody
how laws work
agrees
in
it was
this country.
excessive.
Laws
See
just
my
don't work
screen?
because you agree or disagree with them. It seems like you
Okay,
guys
see
want
the
to play the
screen?
victim when it's convenient.
Obama, Clinton, and big names entertainers help Biden's re-election campaign, and he raises a record $26 million for his re-election.
In one night.
In one night. Cousin Todd, you're hot.
I'm going to start, but then I want you to keep the porch monkeys quiet while I speak. Can you do that, Trump supporter?
Any white person
No.
accused of racism.
That's
call-
yes, that's racism.
Why would you
That's
call it black?
racism, Todd.
the only racism
I-
that Keith can find.
Yeah.
Raggedy old fossil.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
you heard
calling.
say that, you'd call him a racist.
No, no,
All
no.
right,
Count
I'm out of
Chocula.
time. You can't keep playing. Stop talking. I'm out of time.
And
Okay,
Todd's done. Todd, you're done, she's saying.
I I wasn't calling you, Keith, a porch monkey. I was calling your boyfriend a porch monkey.
Well, you're
Uh-huh.
still
I'm calling you a park ape.
you're still a
There's a
racist.
difference.
You're still
And
So
he's my fiance, by the way. It's a little bit more than boyfriend. We've come a long way.
yeah, you're still a racist.
so anyway,
Yeah, he don't care if he's a
Possibly
racist, man. He's with the Democrat Party, man. That's a party of the racists since
All right, go ahead,
their
cousin
inception.
Todd.
I don't
That
blame
would
him.
be
For,
you.
if he wasn't a racist, I
Stop
wouldn't
Stephen,
recognize
Todd.
that Democrat.
That's right.
We heard this
No,
before.
damn Democrat.
Cousin Todd.
okay, so yeah, they raised a lot of money. They're out. They're bringing in much more money than the Republicans. And when the Republicans do bring in money, it's going to go to get their big daddy keep him out of jail, which is rotten for the rest of the Republicans on the down ballot because they won't have anything to fight with. So how is that fair for this sexual predator to get all the money, and you all are not worried about none of the other Republicans?
Sexual predator. When
Yeah,
you get-
well, I
He
call him a
has been
sexual
caught.
predator because he has been accused of rape.
oh
But
God.
And he
there's no proof he raped anybody ever.
Why did he settle? Why
And
did he
he
settle?
also
Because
said,
because you have to settle. That's why.
No, you
He's in a, yes, he did. Because
also,
he's in a
He
hostile
was
he's in a
innocently
hostile
fighting.
place. You have to settle.
No, you
he
don't.
also
Why?
Hey, let's move
admitted.
now.
You don't have to settle.
I got to
It's a
move
cop
He
out.
on.
settles
Okay.
with cases all the time. People like him are a
That means
target,
he's guilty.
and they settle all the. No, he's not guilty of anything.
Then he wouldn't have
No.
settled.
I don't know.
Okay,
don't
thank
know
you.
what-
You
Move
think
on.
he's actually
All right.
guilty? If he was
Hey,
guilty, they would have found him
hey,
guilty.
Stephen,
They would have found him
if I
guilty of
accuse you
rape
of
if he was
something, you're just gonna
guilty.
give me money?
Would
I
they have
accuse
not
you
have
of
found him?
anything.
They would have
You gonna
found him
give me
guilty.
money?
Right.
If I accuse
Okay.
you of
I gotta
stealing
move
my
on.
wallet, you're just gonna give me money to settle?
So since
well,
Joe Biden,
let me just
Laguna,
say why I call him a sexual predator. He was talking about grabbing women by their crotches, and they let you do it if
It's
you're
locker room
famous.
banter. That's
Yes,
And
some
then
women.
he
Yes, some
also
women will,
said-
Todd. If you were
He
famous, you would
also
know.
said he went into at one of his
he
beauty
said if you were
pageants.
famous, you would know, Todd.
You're talking about the president of the
You're
United
talking
States.
over me.
Just
No, that's
Stacey.
before he was a president. He was a talk show
No.
host when he said
okay,
that.
okay, yeah. So that makes it better.
Go ahead, cousin Todd.
No,
Stop.
I'm
Stop,
finished.
Todd.
I'm done.
Just ask
I'm
P.
done.
Diddy.
Move on.
Just ask P. Diddy. That's all.
Yeah, because
I-
P. Diddy and the president are the same.
No, P.
You
All right,
mean, yeah,
thank
the
you.
President Biden.
Oh, now we're gonna
Thank you.
pivot.
If you look at
Hey,
this
President
article,
Biden takes
Now we're
showers
gonna-
with his
What about his
daughter.
laptop? What about his
President,
laptop? His son's laptop.
okay, stop.
President Biden takes showers.
Let's
Stop.
attack Biden when we have
Stop.
nothing else to say.
Stop.
Stacey,
We're going to
stop.
stop.
It's in her
This is the
diary.
article I have on the screen, and
What?
it says President Biden should be worried about Nebraska. And he's raising this money, but he's got to be worried about Nebraska because what?
Why?
Nebraska's Republican Governor Jim Pillen has backed calls for the state to adopt a winner-take-all system for presidential elections, a move that could prevent President Joe Biden from winning any of the state's electoral votes if adopted for November's election.
Mm.
In a statement released on April 2nd, Pillen said he supported LB 764, a bill introduced to the Nebraska legislature by GOP state senator Lauren Lippincott that would give all 5 of the state's electoral votes to the top performing candidate. In November 2020, Biden won 1 of the 5 votes, despite losing the popular vote statewide to Trump, as he beat his Republican rival in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which includes the city of Omaha, where Buffett is located. So let's start with Stephen. Talk about what this means. Will this make a difference in the race between President Biden and former President Trump?
If it goes through, it makes a little bit of difference. And if it's kosher and you're allowed to do it, then I guess you're allowed to do it. Maybe other states will do something similar. I don't know. he's just trying to win at this point,
It's dumb and
trying to get,
desperate, and ain't no winner take all. That
and nobody more desperate than Joe
invalidates
Biden having
votes.
the ex-presidents and a bunch of singers try to hold him up all night. Come on, man. What's the
Okay.
desperate side
Are we
is the
selling a
Democrat side
Bible?
right
What
now.
about selling a
Reverend
Bible?
Pressure,
Nobody likes Joe Biden, man.
What about a Trumpy
Reverend
bill?
Pressure,
Nobody
Reverend
likes
Pressure,
what's happening in this country, man.
Selling a Bible is better.
Reverend
so,
Pressure.
yeah, so once again, like we're back to the point of where we had that disaster in Colorado, where the Republican Party in Colorado decided they were going to try to take Trump off the ballot. And of course, the Supreme Court said that's ridiculous. We can't allow states to mess around and muck around with our real process for electing officials. So this is more of the same. And the biggest problem with it is you don't bring a gun to a fight. You don't bring Nebraska. So if you do this and set precedent that this is okay, imagine how many liberal states with much more electoral votes and a bigger number that would help the other side would want to do this. So once again, this is raggedy campaign fundraising and MAGA nonsense that needs to go away. But no, we shouldn't muck up our process based on one election cycle. When you do things like this, you have to think about in perpetuity what happens once you go down this road. Because if you do, you're just going to carve up the country, and you guys aren't going to like to carve up because the Dems are in more populated areas and always win the popular vote. So this is probably not a smart strategy by any Republican.
Okay, thank you. Keith, can you explain Reverend Pressure's word perpetuity? What does that mean?
In
Well, he'll have to
perpetuity.
explain that because
And
I don't think
perpetuity?
he'll have to
Perpetuity.
perpetuity. I think he'll have to explain what he means by that because the president is going to win. I mean, you got more Democrats that are falling away thanks to RFK. RFK is kind of, splitting up that vote on the Democrat side. So
Yeah, all five of the Democrats.
I think that a lot of people are going to abandon Biden because they see what he's doing, that he's anti-American, and Trump is showing that he's pro-American.
Good job not answering that question.
And I think
Softball question.
He's just pulling it out of his ass at this point.
To have that
Pulling it out
Bible,
of his ass.
that's what I want to focus on. The fact that he's got a Bible with the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. I love
everybody should have one.
And the money changers out the temple.
Yes.
The fact that this man
Yes.
is raising revenue
I
off
love
the
it.
Bible,
I love it.
every real Christian
you,
is
Jesus.
offended. But
I'm not offended at all. If it means
you're-
another person reads the Bible, then I'm happy. I'm not offended.
You're not.
I'm not
Did you
offended.
buy one?
You're
Somebody-
not a Christian.
Yeah, I am.
You're-
Yeah, so
you're not
I'm
a
a buy.
real
I'll buy everybody one if you promise me you'll read it.
You're not a
Got
real
one
Christian. I'm
coming.
not talking about you. I'm
You're
talking
gonna
about
buy all. So
But
for
anyway,
$60,
Okay, thank you.
I'm
We're
not a
out
real
of time.
what?
We're going to do our round table.
You're not a real
$60, you too can
Christian.
see the Lord.
I'm a real Christian.
I
Why
got
would you
one.
buy that Bible?
Aguna, did you comment on this?
I'm a warrior
No, I
for
did not.
Jesus
So-
Christ.
So the bottom line of it is, as much as Keith wants to say these Democrats are moving away from Joe Biden, we have to look at the electoral map, okay? There are only 3 states that really matter. That's Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Georgia, Arizona, that's just fluff for the Democrats, right? So at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say all the 5 voters that may have voted for Kennedy versus Joe Biden is going to somehow move the needle. No, you got to look at those states. And there are not enough Democrats that are going to move the needle. Now, Michigan may be in play because of this Israeli situation. So the Muslim population has already denounced Biden, so that's going to be a problem for him there. But he only needs to win 2 of those 3 states. So this whole thing about election fraud and all this other stuff, no, those are habitually Democratic states. And then as long as Joe Biden wins 2 of those 3, he's going to win the presidency. No matter, this is not including, that's not even including North Carolina, Georgia, or Arizona. So, and then with this abortion thing in Florida going on, that's going to be an issue too. So again, it's about the electoral map and having those states in play. And right now, this echo chamber that's happening on the right to think that for somehow just the Trump coalition is going to somehow win this election when people are in the middle and they're like, look, this stuff is crazy. How are you campaigning from a
electoral
court?
map already favors Trump. The
It
electoral
does
map.
not. He lost the last election. He lost the last election because of the map.
No, it favors Trump
Yeah,
right now.
Okay, thank you.
And
I
well,
mean,
hold on,
you're just
hold on.
pulling that out your ass because
Let,
he
let, let, me,
doesn't.
let me say this to Aguna. But Aguna, you've been a Republican for a long time, so you know a lot about background. When we look at RFK and the majority of his supporters, they're libertarians. Where did people come up with this idea that RFK takes away from Biden? He actually probably takes more away from Trump. If people on this phone who are familiar with
I mean,
libertarians.
if you're being
Not
genuine,
true.
yes. But again, there's a narrative on the right that somehow this third party candidate is going to hurt Biden versus Trump because they just want to believe what they believe in. They don't understand or they don't want to understand the truth. So of course they're going to make up their own narratives.
Well, I don't think they're making up their own narrative. They think the name alone will pull votes from Biden.
Hey, we need to find that old white man that told that dude on stage, John Kennedy, and you're no John Kennedy. We need that dude to come back alive because ain't no way in hell people are looking at RFK as if he's a representative of the Kennedy family. Shout out to his father and his uncle, great politicians in their own right. But this dude, man, like we're gonna listen to that automated auto-tune voice.
You're just mad because he can do more push-ups than you.
Challenge him right now.
Yeah.
He cannot beat
You guys are getting too much
RFK.
information.
Me versus you, one-on-one push-up. I win.
I agree with about 70% of what RFK goes
You
with.
think
Maybe
RFK
50%. Maybe I'm being a little
crazy.
generous. But no. His environmental is he's really wacky about a lot of stuff. But he's a conservative. He wants to conserve the land and stuff. I do too. It's like things that you could work on. But no, there's no way that I would take him over Trump. But he's a really good guy. And the reason he talks like that is because he believes that a shot that he got, like a vaccine, that's the reason he talks that way. And he was really good when it comes to going against the vaccine shots and stuff like that. And everybody's got reasons why Donald Trump is going to win because it's because of the shape this country is in right now. The way this country is in, that's the only.
Okay, it's
God,
not
you
time.
on.
It's not time to do that.
Economy's
I'm going to go on and on, Stephen. You can't make you can't make a
Good man.
conclusion in a
There you
edit
go,
word.
Stacy. Put your foot down. Make that little boy be quiet.
I'm a man, Stacy.
Good man, Stacey.
All right. Look at the screen. Donald Trump is so mad about Trans Day of Visibility that he wants a Christian Visibility Day. This is our roundtable, starting with Keith, then Stephen, then Reverend Perez, Aguna, and then Cousin Todd. Keith.
Well, let's see. I think that the Christians, we pretty much already have our days. We have Christmas. We have the 4th of July or Independence Day. We have that. We have
No, that's not Christian. Easter was right there, Keith.
Resurrection Day. And so, I think that's good. I mean, but I would love to see, I'm glad he's upset about the visibility thing. I mean, about trans visibility, because first of all, it is a fake. It's phony. There's no such thing as a third gender or a transgender. There's no such thing. It's fake. It's only a man trying to pretend to be a woman or a woman trying to pretend to be a man, whatever. And that's fake. It's phony. It's false. It's satanic.
Okay,
it's demonic. So there. It doesn't need to be a part of America. Our American.
Thank you, Stephen.
What about those hermaphrodites? They're fake and phony and false and demonic.
A lot of hermaphrodites running around in society.
What did you say? What did you say?
You cannot convince me that there are a bunch of hermaphrodites, a large percentage, running around in society. You have one or the
okay,
but they do exist, right?
Usually during birth, they always decide which one they're going to be, even if they are born with both.
Okay. If
Thank
I can
you,
just say
cousin.
one thing before.
No.
Wait till your round table comes.
Wait till your round table, Stephen.
I won't interrupt. All right, Stephen.
Well, am I still on mute?
No, we're looking at you stare off into the camera and wonder what you're going to say. You look like you're struggling there, brother. You need some help?
I'm struggling just a little bit. It seems like it was just a genuinely a mean thing to do on Easter. Instead of making Easter the big thing, the Easter egg roll and all that stuff, it should just be about Easter. It's like they're trying to stick a thumb in the Christian's eye, and that's really not cool. That's really not nice at all.
It's always
Because the transgenders could have it the next day.
always
You know what we do? You know what we do as Christians? We pray for these people. We want them to be happy. We want them to come to Jesus and have a good life. That's all we want. We don't want anything bad for anybody. But this is rude. This is not. What if it was like a big? What was it like? We were a Judeo Muslim or Muslim country, and we had this biggest day, and then they come around with this transgender garbage in the middle of that. That's so disrespectful. You know what? They'd be killed. People would be killed. And Biden can just come out there with his Oyster bunnies beside him and his wife holding him up and has his little diaper bag or whatever. But they don't need to bring this up on that day. But you know what? As Christians, we forgive them. If that's the worst thing that they do to us Christians, if that's the worst thing they do to us, they don't put us in jail because we're Christians, and they don't kill us because we're Christians like it's happening all over the world, then they can come in there and be rude and say, we're celebrating something that's like a fairy tale and people ride on unicorns, bless their heart. And we celebrate the fact we want little kids to have their junk mutilated. We celebrate that. We encourage little kids to cut up their stuff and and have no sexual life the rest of their real life, man. That's just
thank you.
But we pray for those. And that's all we can do. Thank you, Stacey.
Okay, thank you. Reverend Pressure.
Yeah, I wonder if those people who are saying that would invite those people to their church, since they're so loving and welcoming. I wonder if that'll happen. I doubt it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me finish my turn. But the other thing is, I realize holidays based on the date. So this just happened to be a coincidence where these two dates coincided. Like, it's not a nefarious plan by Joe Biden to hurt you as a Christian. This day has been there for a while now, and the people who are celebrating it, I mean, they're not bothering you. They're just enjoying their lives. And when it comes down to it, man, when we have Mexican Heritage Day, or a day for Spanish sailors, or whatever it is,
or Aunt Jemima month,
part of that group, like, why would you get so upset that you're not participating in something that they're participating? The majority of Christians I know, they were celebrating Easter, and they either saw that on social media and kept it moving, but the outrage farming by the right, because they know these angry, low information, stupid voters can be easily pushed to anger. So this was one way for Trump to just simply say, oh, let me use this. I'll push this button and make the monkey jump. Let me make Stephen jump 3 times.
You think he has to do something to make me vote for him?
And you jump. No.
You think that's right?
He wants
I was going to vote for Biden, but now he did this. I'll vote for Trump. Okay.
Okay, thank
he
you.
wants to raise your anger during slow news.
I'm not angry. I forgive these people. I forgive them. It was rude. It's rude.
Excuse me.
The monkey jump.
You can't interrupt him. This is his roundtable. Are you finished, Reverend Pressure?
Yeah, but Stacey, he was triggered. He can't help it.
No, he said something to me.
They've got his brain in the bag. They just pushed the button. And
Right, my brain in the bag.
He's simmering right now. He's mad.
Thank you. Aguna.
Yeah, so I'll just make this one point. So when someone has to go out their way, think about this. We have a transgender day, so let's have a Christian visibility day. In an attempt to play the cheap seats and to trigger people and to make them this false outrage, you're actually equating the two. Because if you were a real Christian, you would be insulted by the fact that he said we need to have a Christian visibility day, because you're trying to play me like I'm a fool. Now you're elevating this holiday to make it something that it isn't by trying to equate it to a Christian visibility day. I mean, why do we as Christians need such a day, right? We live our lives the way we do. We don't have to perpetuate things. If you're a Christian and you follow Christ, so it makes it disingenuous. Just like the whole Bible with the Constitution, he's playing you for a fool. And I'd be insulted. A lot of Christians and evangelicals that I know are insulted by the fact that, oh, you think we're so naive and so dumb, you can do all this little gimmicky stuff and make us still like feel as if we're going to be triggered and voted for you. I mean, in the Bible, if you follow the Old Testament, which is the history of the Jewish people, and you look at the 10 Commandments and you read the 10 Commandments, you believe in the 10 Commandments, all this is sacrilegious. This is what he's doing. And this whole premise of Christian Visibility Day, as if it's equivalent to Transgender Day, and if you could just throw something out there and people just latch onto it like it's like something we need to be enraged about. It's ridiculous. And so for people who even equate the two, is actually disingenuous and actually sacrilegious to me.
He
And
doesn't
Thank
mean
you.
it to be a day, Stacey. He doesn't mean it to
Cousin
be a
Todd.
day.
he said
He
that.
does-
That's what he said.
But
He said,
no,
let's
but
make
it's a
Christian
voting day. That's when you're going to vote. He said, let's all Christians go vote on that day. It'll be a
No, he
Christian
said
day.
Christian
That's
doesn't
what
mean
it's on
read
voting
the article.
day. He's saying all
Read
Christians,
the
Cousin
hey,
article.
Todd.
Christians, look what they did to you. Let's all get together and vote the same
He
way.
always Christian. What are you doing? You're trying to use Christianity in
No,
order to
he's not. He's
politicize it?
saying Christians.
He-
Are you
he's trying
upset
to politicize
that
Christianity.
they peed on
Thank
your
you. You made
eyeballs?
my
Are you
point.
upset that
You made my point.
What?
Cousin Todd.
What?
Okay.
Cousin Todd.
Okay. All right. Now, just to clear up some of the crazy, Fox News knows how dumb their viewers are, and they take advantage of them. I'm not making a joke.
Oh my
I'll prove
God! You
it.
watch MSNBC and the
Listen
four
to
broads.
me carefully. Hey, dum dum. Shh. Now,
Control yourself.
they told you that, oh, they're trying to make a gay day on Easter. Now, what they didn't tell you is that they have been doing that for 15 years.
We know.
They didn't just start that yesterday
We know.
just for Fox people. That's
We
been
know.
15 years. So what were they supposed to do? Oh, we'll just miraculously change it. So that goes to show you how dumb you are. And then for Keith, there's only a few hermaphrodites in the world. It's just a few. Do you know there's less than 2% of America is transgender? 1.6, I think the number is.
Then why are we
Less than
making such a
2.
big deal over these few people?
Shut up. So that's to go to you, Keith, for saying it's only a few hermaphrodites. It's only a few transgender when you go looking at the numbers, you dumb black Luke.
We don't have Hermaphrodite Day, do we? Are we going to have that
So-
next?
Oh gosh, Stacey.
That's the same damn thing.
Stacey,
That's the same
can
thing.
you-
Oh, we
I'm
got to have
asking-
hermaphrodites
I'm
now, and they got to
asking
walk around with
Great point,
I'm
hermaphrodite
asking you
underwear,
if you can
whatever they do.
control your
You got to stump
show.
on that one, Stephen.
Hey, last year when they had their party at
Why
these
can't
same people at their
shut
party,
up?
the men were showing their
Stacey,
boobs to
I'm
little
just
people
kids.
looking
time.
at you, and the
Stop making
viewers
stuff
have
up.
spoken, and they said Stacey cannot control her show, and that's because of him. He's embarrassing you, and you know it.
Oh
And
my
I-
goodness, you're embarrassing me, Stephen,
Are you not
and I'm not
entertained?
taking it anymore.
I'm so
Anyway,
sorry. I'm
man,
so
You can
sorry,
make it
Stacey.
into a joke if you
man.
want.
I
but
need punishment. I need
Listen to this.
Todd, you're right.
You're
But I
making
get
a
to say what the
joke out of you.
punishment is.
You're still interrupting.
Yes.
He's making
Are you
a
finished,
joke
Cousin
out
Todd?
of your. No, I am not.
Todd has no sense of humor.
You
He's a
never
Democrat.
asked him if he was finished. You're just allowing him to go on and on.
He's speaking for the meth population.
And so, so anyway, but the point is, Stacey, you know, the people said Stacey cannot control her show. And that's embarrassing because nobody's ever said Barbara Walters can't control her show. Oprah Winfrey can't control her show. Star Jones can't control her
Well,
show.
none of them had personalities. Like
None of
I
them
have on
had porch
None of them
monkeys or
had
park
dynamic,
apes or
smart,
shiny-eyed
intelligent
monkeys.
people.
None of
Like
them
I
have
have,
conserv-
none of them have had the
None of
type
them have
of
conservative.
contributors that I have, and they don't talk about things as passionate as
Right.
we talk
Thank you,
about.
Stacey.
So-
Right
All right,
on.
well, I'm going to
Right on,
finish with
Stacey.
this.
They don't have conservatives on their show.
I'm going
Todd
to
hates the
finish.
show as much as he hates a miracle.
Stacey has conservatives as well as progressive
Why
liberal
are y'all
Marxists.
still interrupting? Why are y'all still doing that?
We're waiting for
because-
Todd to bring us our champagne. Waiter,
Contrast.
bring us some champagne, Todd.
And listen
Stacey
to
has a
this.
contrast
Now he's
of
going to
different-
jump
I'll
in.
have a mimosa.
A waiter could
Even
not
in the
afford what
Republican
I'm wearing.
side. We got a Republican here that is very leftist.
Listen
So
to
what do
this.
you
All right,
think?
go ahead,
I don't-
Cousin Todd.
You
Keith,
know.
stop, Keith, please.
Okay.
Let Todd
Give him the
finish
right
so we
or
can
bad
leave.
name, Keith.
So, so this has been going on for all those years, and they're only less than 2% of the population. Though, if you listen to Fox News and psycho Republicans, Trump supporters, they will have you think, oh, there's so many of them coming out of the woodwork. which they've tried that before when they tried the bathroom trick about there's going to be rapes if you let them use the bathroom, and nothing ever happened. So they
Yeah,
stopped
people got
talking about
raped.
that.
Some people got
I'm
raped.
listen to this
Okay, thank
demon.
you.
He knew he was
So-
gonna run with that.
I'm
That's
going
a
to move on.
True.
What do
There's
you
no
mean
place
else.
sexualized?
Where are you
Next
moving on?
year.
Good job,
What do you mean
Cousin Todd.
sexualized?
Thank you. Next year, April the 20th, is Respect Lima Bean Day. So before you all get up in arms, that's what's coming on Easter next year.
Buy
So
50
then you-
cans of lima beans and break them. I'm not going
Listen,
wild. It's
are the lima
bean
beans
Saturday.
Christian? Are they Christian lima beans?
I
We
don't
need to have a
think they
Christian lima
are.
bean day.
So they'll probably have a war
hell
about
no.
that.
Are
All
they,
right,
are
thank
they,
you.
are they
To our
And
first
kosher?
it's
responders, you can't go
pineapple
on and on and
upside
on,
down.
Todd.
Yes, I can. It's Pineapple Upside Down Day next
I
Easter.
would mute
So-
him if you have that capability, Stacy.
Listen at this demon.
I would mute him like I've been.
Yeah, like he's muted
Always
right
the
now.
victim,
Like-
like I've been muted.
Oh, I can't. So anyway,
All right.
that was my round table. I had a lot more to say, but
You're
because of
holding
these-
Steven up from his Duck Dynasty audition. So you better,
All right.
you gotta keep it quick. Keep it
He gonna
quick.
go in the
No,
basement. and
I was in a
smoke some
play and I was
crystals. That's all he gonna
Moses.
do.
I was
All right,
Moses
to our
in a
first
play.
responders in our
Honestly, though-
communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show, we are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican,
Cousin
He
Todd,
talks
there's a
too
fly
much.
in my soup, Cousin Todd. Waiter, there's a fly in my soup.
A waiter could not afford what I have on.
Keith, the constitutional conservative,
Man,
Stephen,
iron on that thing
the independent thinker,
with the olive. Is that olive or camouflage?
Olive.
Reverend Pressure, thank you for joining us. You always give us some food for thought. Thank you, Reverend
Yeah, we're
Pressure
getting
and
fat in our head.
cousin Todd, my cousin Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
Go to the prom. What point is the prom? Where's your?
I find it funny though that the people who tell me all about the Constitution all of a sudden say the size of a population matters when it comes to their rights. I thought that Constitution covered everybody. So this is really weird hearing this from people.
We're gonna be here all day. We talk about the hypocrisy that.
And
All right, I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on Instagram, X, Twitch, Twitter. I mean X. That's Twitter, right?
See, Keith,
TikTok.
this is the Liberty Bell, Keith.
Twitter's X.
TikTok, Twitch, and Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. We're back. We were off for 2 weeks.
we were not off for 2 weeks.
I said we were. I said we're back. We were off for 2 weeks.
We were not off for 2 weeks.
Oh, it felt like 2 weeks.
Any moment is like 2 weeks without you, Todd. Right?
Hey, Stacy, did you get what I sent you about Rashid Rice getting kicked off Kansas City?
No. What did you?
Did you hear about it?
No.
He was racing a guy in his Corvette, and they had a wreck and sent him to a 6-car wreck, and him and his friends got out, and I think they grabbed some guns and stuff, and then walked away.
They didn't grab some guns and stuff. Shut your pie hole. He wants
I
to
think
add to it.
I think that's what I heard. I'm not 100%.
A gun in his car.
I thought they said they walked away with gun. I'm just saying what I thought, what I heard.
I just
He left the scene of an accident, so he's probably in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
So they
Thank
kicked
you
him
for
off
the
the
update.
team. They kicked him off the team, and I thought I'd send it to you. I'm sorry.
That's
Hey,
okay.
Nas.
Thanks for the update.
Nas
what's
has
up,
to
Count
understand-
Chocula?
Nas, you need to
I
understand.
didn't want to discuss that until we
is,
could get to the bottom of it because it's still up in the air. That's why we did not discuss that.
Yeah, but
So
it's
you won't have
relevant because
people-
it's
Hey,
fresh.
dummy. We're not going to report on.
Would you
news
like
that
something fresh, or you want to eat it after it's been in the refrigerator for a
Oh,
week?
Gosh, listen at
Nas,
this.
Find some
Johnny
food
Bad
up here right
monkey.
now that you ate last
Constitution is
week.
based on natural law.
No,
hope
Stephen,
not.
I must commend Stephen again for not using one curse word the entire show. Thank you,
Do you
Stephen.
I
see
know
this?
others that did it. I'm not going to point to.
Stacy is so crazy. She
Bitch on
commends
top of it. Look
crazy
at it.
for. Oh, I can't.
You try to award Stephen for acting normal.
Yeah, They're
No, but
not
you're the one that
normal.
was cussing
No,
there, Aguna.
Well, only thing
Legs on the
I
curve.
said Keith's pulled that stat out his ass.
You said it like 10 times.
That was only my
10
third
times.
time saying it, by the way.
Well, he did
No,
it.
that was
How-
like the 11th time.
The Constitution
And he
is
did.
based on the Declaration,
Yeah.
the
Hey,
natural law.
Keith.
That
Keith.
is what our
Put
rights
your
are
real
being
teeth in before you
bound,
talk to me.
and no
I
right,
want to talk to
no man
somebody.
has the right to become a
Yeah, but
woman.
but
No
I'm
man
visual.
All right. Good night.
right
Good
I'm
night.
visual, Laguna. I don't want to think about what's coming out of anywhere.
Yeah, well,